I have not heard somebody give a way to play the Tour Championship that is good or perfect or anything. I feel like I can poke holes in almost every argument.
Well,
So,
I got to run mine by you then, so you can rip it up.
let's hear it.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog. Shifting gears today, talking a bunch of stuff with Andrew Novak, PGA Tour player. And unfortunately, Paul Shaughnessy can't be here. But Andrew, he is the what he likes to call the founder of Novak Nation, as a guy who's been betting on you for about 4 years now. That he is delighted with your success. He wants me to pass along how good he is feeling about the state of your game right now.
Yeah, that's great. I don't know. Did he coin Novak Nation? Because he's not the first to actually start a Novak Nation thing.
Well, it's been, I mean, for a
I don't-
while.
Maybe he picked it up from some people. I don't know, but
I don't think so. This has been going on for 4 years now.
Really?
I feel like other people just copied what he was up to.
there was a group of guys at a Corn Ferry event that tried to start a Novak Nation thing. I don't know if it ever really caught on, probably because I was on Corn Ferry, but it's been a bit of a thing.
What's happened to you over the past 4 months? Why are you basically a top 10 player in the world now?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a mindset change. I think that's been the biggest thing for me. I think statistically, last year I was just about the same golfer. I just didn't know what to do with it. Like, talent was there, good golf was there, but I didn't know how to focus that, how to turn that into good results. I think probably my strokes gained is all pretty comparable. I want to say I was fifth on PGA Tour last year in scoring average. So, like, I could play, but I couldn't put myself in position to win golf tournaments. I think a lot of the issue was a lot of it boiled down to Saturday scoring average. I felt like I was not putting myself in position to win golf tournaments. I was kind of happy that I made the weekend, coasted a little bit, and then would maybe play decent on Sunday and finish, 13th. That's a good week. 13th is a great week, but I wanted to win golf tournaments. I wanted to push myself to, compete to win, because I think I will be better in competitive circumstances the more times I put myself in those positions. So, starting with last fall, I really, made it a point to try and get in a last group, try and win a golf tournament, see how I handle that.
How much of that is, you just mentioned, like playing up from the Corn Ferry, getting on the PGA Tour? I assume once you get on tour and you cash like a T9 paycheck, it must seem awfully good. The same thing happened with Scheffler for a while when he came up from Corn Ferry. He kind of had this similar type of struggle where he put himself in position, and then just on the weekend he'd go away, and then he'd have to rally back, and then eventually you break through. But now that you're in all the majors, you're going to be at Eastlake. I mean, it would take someone from the back of the pack or even the middle of the pack just going absolutely mental for the first 2 rounds of the playoffs to bump you down enough. Like, you have all of the security, at least for this year now, and you got the tour card locked up with the win at Zurich. How much does that play into your mindset now? Like, hey, were you originally going to play in Canada this week? And like, you looked at it like, well, now I have a major and 2 signature events. I might get an off week here.
Yeah. I love Canada. Like, that's actually been one of my favorite events that I've played each of the years that I've been on tour. Like, the fans are unbelievable, but just the way the schedule breaks down, it's just tough for me. I had to, basically it came down to, I was either going to be playing there or Colonial, and I had to, like, I had to get kind of in deep with it. I was looking into, like, the course they're playing this year for the Canadian Open, and they've taken it to TPC. It's like 7,400 yard par 70, like, really long golf course. Didn't really think it maybe favored my game as much as maybe Colonial would. So that's literally how it ended up happening. Hopefully next year I can get back and go play that one. But I've just played so much golf, not knowing that I was going to be in all of these events now. And so, at some point the schedule kind of had to change so I could get a little break.
Has your lifestyle caught up to the new success yet, or are you still just keeping things how it was?
I'm me. What I do on the golf course doesn't really change what I do off the course. That's I'm me. You know, I could shoot 65. I could shoot 74. I'm probably talking to my brother after the round, hanging with my wife, get a dinner. Like there's nothing that really changes that much based on what I do for my day job.
But you're not back at home. You're not like everything's the same, but now I drive a Lamborghini.
Well, I did for the first time kind of splurge to get myself a car, but this was back in like February, so maybe that kind of pushed me to kind of get going, make sure I could cover the payment on that one. But yeah, no, we're same house, same everything. Like I'm not a big purchase guy. Just want to win golf tournaments.
Have you started thinking about Ryder Cup yet?
I started thinking about that a while ago. I think about it every day. Yeah, I mean
And
it's well, okay. In fairness, like specifically when Bethpage was announced, which I don't even know when this was. I think I was still living in Charleston. That's how long ago it was when it was announced. I remember hearing, "Oh, Bethpage is getting a Ryder Cup," and thinking, "Well, I want to be there." Like, and I mean, that had to be years ago. I mean, I wasn't. I don't know. I don't even know if I was a professional at that point in time. I might have been still a college player. Um, so like, yeah. I mean, I've thought about it for a long time. Um, Obviously, going into this year, it seemed like a bit of a long shot, but the game has, you know, been there this year. I've played well. I think it has been a perfect motivation for me. Um, I've got a lot more work to do, but so far it's been a great year for it.
well, you're on the short list right now. I think winning the team event with Ben
Hmm.
helps out too because he keeps pushing to get a spot on
Yeah,
the team. That if I'm Keegan and I'm looking at it, be like, hey, some guys just play well together. How long have you known Ben for?
Ben and I have known each other since we were junior golfers. I mean, we were probably 14, 15 because he grew up in North Carolina. I actually was born like not far from where he grew up, but I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. But they had the Carolinas Golf Association ran a ton of junior events, so I'd see him. He was a year younger than me, but he was a lot better golfer than me when we were growing up. So he was, I'd see him a lot at those events. I don't know if we ever played a team event. They had a few like team event matches, stuff like that. Like I think there was a Carolinas Virginia's team, and I can't remember if he was on that team or not. Um, but we played many junior tournaments against each other. In college, we kind of would play some amateur stuff in the summer, but I didn't see him hardly at all in college tournaments just because UNC was playing a significantly better schedule than Wofford, so we didn't really run into them very much. But
See, how long were you in Charleston for? Like, were you there? Were you there during the time they were shooting Southern Charm?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we moved in early 2000, like '02, and I was there, and for my first 2 years, I turned pro. So I was probably there for almost 20 years. Maybe I think I moved down here in uh, 2020 to St. Simon's Island.
It, my wife just really wants to go. Like,
Yeah,
is
you
it a
should
worthy
go.
like 3 day
There,
trip to go?
when I tell people I grew up in Charleston, I have literally never once had somebody be like, "I don't like Charleston," or every single person I tell, they're like, "Oh my god, I love that place. I went with my wife. We had this great time." Or it's always. I mean, people have a great time
All right,
there. Highly would recommend.
I'm digging that. So I would just try to look at like it's funny you mentioned like you don't want to play a TPC Toronto longer course. Colonial fits you more. Like, is that how you see your game? Because obviously you played really well at Heritage, Colonial. A bit. It's not the Colonial short. It
Mm.
feels like all of its oomph is packed into a few holes. That the rest of the holes are pretty short. I know that this week, I think it's 5 of
Yeah,
the holes are over
I think.
480 yards or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think the Bermuda aspect plays into it a little bit as well. Although I have had good success playing up in Canada, um, I would say I've done well in the Canadian courses typically because they've been a little bit tougher. My short game has been able to, make par matter. finally met my match at Memorial this week. I could not.
What happened,
Yeah.
by the way?
I have never had a short game week like that in my life. I was going through it. I think I was on Sunday mid round. I was going through it. I was trying to remember if I'd ever played a bluegrass course before, like Kentucky bluegrass. Apparently I just can't chip out of stuff. I don't. I got to go obviously back and figure out what I was doing wrong there. It was also like Jack was playing mind games with us as well. Like I'm one of the best bunker players on tour. Like statistically, I've been unbelievable all year. Like I've been running at about 75% up and down sand saves on the season, which is top 5, top 10 on tour. I don't think I got up and down a single time. I could not figure out what the bunkers were doing, and they had bunkers on the short game area, but they did not prepare them the same at all. And so I get out on the course, and I'm still trying to figure. Like I know I've hit 2 or 3 really poor bunker shots, and now I've got this bunker shot that I haven't been able to practice. Like I don't know what it's doing. And I was guessing so much all week. I mean, Jack, he was just playing mind games with us, and he got me bad.
You're not wrong to say it may have been the worst week. Your worst week going into last week around the green, statistic-wise, was the 2022 John Deere Classic, and this was 5 strokes worse.
Okay, yeah, I'll believe it. I don't know what I was doing at John Deere. I love chipping around that place. I think I was going crazy around there last year. That was it's been a rough week.
Well, now you don't ever have to go back
To
John Deere.
No, I love John Deere. I'm going back this year.
You're going back there, so you're going to be.
Of course. Oh, that place is so good.
I don't know if you guys look at this stuff. I mean, I'm sure some do. Like, you're going to go into that event. You're going to be the betting favorite to win that event.
So last year, I finished 6th there, or 7th. I was 4 over through 2 to start the tournament. So I don't think I would have beaten Davis because he just smoked the rest of the field, but I would have been up there. I love that place. I actually putt good on that course, which is a big key for me because usually I can do most of the other stuff decent.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like, so have you mapped out like what the rest of your year looks like now? Because you're
Pretty
gonna
much, yeah.
like
I've got it like squared away. I haven't really like gone through the fall or anything. Like I don't know what the playoffs will bring and stuff like that. But through the playoffs, yeah, I pretty much know what I'm going to be doing.
like, does that mean like you really don't have to play in the swing at all if you don't want to?
It depends. Like I don't know if I am on Ryder Cup, that changes some things. Regardless of that, there may be opportunities over in Europe as well. Like I really haven't thought about it. I've got some family stuff coming up in the fall as well. So like I haven't really gotten too much into the schedule for that. But through the playoffs, I pretty much know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've had Mike Kim on a couple times, and he had sort of a great run at the beginning of the year. Now he's petered
He was
off a
playing
little bit.
awesome.
But like he's built himself up like enough cachet now that he's still like 24th in the FedEx Cup. Like he's going to be there for at least St. Jude, at least BMW, a nice finish or two when he gets himself to East Lake. And you're kind of going through that for the first time as well. Like, hey, there's not really much you got to worry about for next year. What's that mentality wise that you're out here grinding? You need to keep your tour card, and now that's just locked up.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously we've already been talking about Ryder Cup, but there is so much to play for still. I haven't thought about it too much. Obviously, like having a win and having such a good start it absolutely frees me up. I know Ben has talked about it. He talked about it a lot at Colonial, how much more free he's able to play with that win in his belt. Like he's obviously changed his game a good bit in the last 6 months. And I feel like the way he has changed his game even leans into that freedom more. I mean, he is just swinging free. He is shipping it, and he's making it work. And I think the confidence boost that both of us got from that has been very nice.
Was it nice not to have to play in the longest day of golf?
Very, very nice. I don't think I've ever technically played longest day in golf because I've always gone to Dallas. But no, I mean, that's still 36 in one day. I got through one time ever. It's hard. And there's just too many good golfers. I think last year at Dallas, I was hitting on the range next to this kid with a college bag. and I was just hearing the ball come off the face. I was like, "Oh my god, who is this?" I've literally never heard of this guy. It was Luke Clayton. Obviously heard about it, figured out, oh, okay, this kid's at least like a stud, which made me feel way better about that because I was worried for a bit that this is just what like all college kids were doing. But it made me feel way better a couple months later when I realized, okay, this kid's like legit. But yeah, there's some serious depth in professional golf.
Do you see like these new guys come up? Like even someone like obviously Ludwig's been out for a while. Now you mentioned Clayton, Gordon Sargent's turning pro this week. Does it seem like the new class of players? Like how long have you been out of college for now? Like 8 years?
Yeah, I graduated in 17. I'm kind of old now. I mean,
You're getting old.
it's kind of crazy. They all hit it very far now.
Like,
Um,
like even in those 8 years, it seems like it's a lot longer. Or maybe it just is a lot longer.
I think it is. I think just access to the ability to learn how to hit it far has changed. Obviously, people are going to talk about the technology, like the size of the drivers, like that leans into it. The whole reason people started teaching like guys to swing that hard is because you can. Like the way the technology is, you can get away with that. So um, I think kids learning from a young age how to swing hard and being helped with through fitness, through things like TrackMan, like being able to find ways to maximize your potential. Like I think that is kind of the direction the game is going.
Now, I'm up in Canada, so I really appreciate the Canadian Open. But I think if there was ever a year to take a pass on the tournament, it was this year. Like, it's not really in Toronto. It's like an hour and a bit outside of
I've
Toronto.
heard
There's
it.
nowhere good
It's
to
kind of out
stay,
in the
nowhere
sticks.
good to
Yeah.
eat. Like, that's not where you want to go.
If it was at St. George's every year, I would have gone this year. Like I don't care, 5, 6, 7 in a row. I don't care. I'd be there. Say like that course was unbelievable. Like honestly, one of the best courses I've ever played on the PGA Tour.
It's funny because I played it like 10 years ago when I lived in Toronto,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize that they could make it that hard.
The rough was brutal. The greens got like for Canada, they got very firm. Like you're expecting like, oh, it's kind of damp out here, like kind of chilly, and the ball just starts bouncing and you couldn't stop it. And I don't know. I don't remember who won. Did Rory win that week? Maybe.
Yeah,
I
Rory.
don't think it was much more than like 10 under. It might have been 15 under, but that place was so good, so fun, so many different golf holes. Um, did not get repetitive at all.
So, do you have like a preference for? I mean, we talked about Colonial, we talked about Heritage, like that type of course.
Mhm.
Thinking it through, some shorter holes, but you can hit it to like you. Like, are those the types of courses where you can hit it to your spot and just go crazy with your approaches?
A little bit. I think at different points in my career, I've had success on very different golf courses. Like, I do think my game, I can play pretty well anywhere on any given week. I mean, I think my rookie year, I just tore up the island tour. I like played really well in Dominican and Puerto Rico and Vedante, like all the opens, like super windy seaside courses. But then I can turn around and I've played like the tighter course as well. I'm not really the longest hitter, but I can still do decent around bombers places. Like I think my approach from longer distances has been pretty good through the years, so I can make it work. I think the key for me is, if I'm making putts any given week, like I'm probably going to have a decent chance, just because typically the rest of my game is pretty solid. I may not, not like Scotty from approach, but I'm typically gaining a little bit, maybe off the tee approach and around the green. So if the putter's there, it's going to be a good day.
I was having some problems sleeping. When anyone has little kids, that's probably going to be the case. They'll come up, wake you up in the middle of the night for no real apparent reason. So you're waking up, you're going back to sleep, you're waking up, going back to sleep. It's not the best sleep. I put my Apple Watch on and tried to track my sleep tracker. It was not going well. A lot of that changed once I got a Helix mattress, however, because I was able to customize it to both what I want, what my wife wants, and now we're sleeping throughout the night. The little noises that would just normally wake you up when you're not sleeping well, no longer the case for me. No more back pain either, because I'm actually sleeping on a mattress that is perfect for what my back demands, which is a lot because I have a terrible back. The one that I had before my Helix mattress, I spent a lot of money on it. It was bad after like 2 years. It had like the divot in it from where I sleep. It was unflippable. It was a horrendous waste of money. Not only is the Helix mattress I have now way better, it was also significantly cheaper. And it just showed up to my door in a box. Very easy to get onto my bed frame and just start using right away. So you can have all your problems solved with a Helix mattress as well. So you can go to helixsleep.com/Mayo for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/Mayo for 20% off site-wide. Be sure to enter my name at the checkout so they know that I sent you. helixsleep.com/Mayo. I want you to think about two things. One, what makes your father special? Number two, what makes all fathers the same? The answer to number two is that they are impossible to buy Father's Day gifts for. Who knows what your dad needs? But I can tell you one thing that the vast majority, almost all of fathers enjoy: steak. Barbecuing. It's perfect. When it comes to Father's Day, some things never change. A recent survey shows 75% of Americans agree there's no better way to spend Father's Day than grilling with the family. So, shop omahasteaks.com and give your dad the legendary Heartland quality he deserves. Plus, my listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917, a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, dessert, and easy-to-prepare comfort food. This Father's Day, give Dad the world's best steak experience with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for a guaranteed perfect gifts that deliver legendary quality. For an extra $35 off, use promo code MAYO at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. See site for details. Have you been up to Oakmont ever?
I have. I played with my caddy there one time. I've only been once, but he's been there a good bit. He grew up not far from there. He went to college right near there. He club caddied there a little bit before he ended up caddying professionally. So he knows the place well. He is very excited, and we are going to have a large following of his friends coming out. So it's going to be a good time.
Like, what are your expectations going into it of how the course is going to play? Obviously, you're going in to win. We all know that. But
Yep.
like, is there a specific strategy at a U.S. Open that you have to consider? Because I was thinking about just even watching Memorial over the weekend, and there was a couple shots where Scotty he was in the rough, he was buried, and there was even one where I think he was like 212 or something away. And I think the wind was gusting up on the Saturday, and I forget what hole it was, but the pin was on the left, and there was just a shorter corridor to get over the water onto the right. I think it was actually the par 5 on the back. He's just like, nah, I'm just going to put it to 45 feet and 2-putt. Like, it doesn't feel like there's enough guys out there that, I mean, at Memorial, it's one thing to do. You kind of have to do it at the U.S. Open a lot of the time. Even going back and watching what Dustin did in 2016, that was his entire game plan. It's like, I'm going to hit it to 45 feet and 2-putt. Maybe I'll make one.
Yep. I mean, if you par every hole at Oakmont for 72 holes, like, it is almost guaranteed you will win. Based on the fact Dustin won at what? 3 under? Well, he had the penalty. Whatever.
Well, we don't know if that was a real
whatever
penalty.
he was.
He was only assessed after he had enough strokes to have it.
He was like, he finished like under par though. I'm pretty sure.
Like,
the
on
members
the
at
Saturday,
Oakmont
I actually watched the Saturday. Lowry shot 7 under on Saturday.
Yeah, the people at Oakmont do not want under par winning. They're gonna make sure that over par is winning this Open. Pars are fantastic. I don't care what hole it is out there. Pars are fantastic at Oakmont. After playing Memorial, I'm guessing the rough will be somehow worse than that, which that might have been. The other U.S. Open I played was at Brookline, and I would have said the rough at Memorial this week was probably worse than what we saw at Brookline. I'm guessing Oakmont will be worse than that. So just don't ever hit a bad shot for 72 holes, because you'll probably not enjoy the rest of the hole after that.
You'd much rather be in the bunker, wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure. And but that goes for, I mean, like Torrey Pines. That's true. I mean, it's yeah. Any places where the rough is that bad, as long as the bunker lips aren't horrible. The thing with Oakmont is that they have thought about that. They know what they're doing with the bunkers. You have church pews, you have steep faces, you have a lot of like kind of smaller bunkers or sectioned off bunkers. Like you're not going to just fall in a bunker and have 30 yards to a lip so you can just hit up clean typically there's some added element like okay you're going to have to think about a lip here, you're going to have a funny stance, you're going to have something like they don't ever want you to really get away with one.
At Memorial this week, like when you got it into the rough, what
Mm,
was the hack it out versus you could actually hit your ball like ratio? Because I remember last year at Pinehurst, I think it was Scotty who said it. Like when it goes, and I played it earlier this year. It was just, like when it goes into that wire grass. Like a
yep.
lot of the time, it's fine. Sometimes you're absolutely fucked. And
Yeah,
like, how is the rough going to play? Like, are you going to have? Although the rough might be long,
yeah.
obviously, if it's not sitting down all the way, you can probably still get it into
i'm
the air.
not
It's not a
I'm
hack
probably
out.
not the right guy to ask for more. I was chopping every time, but then I'd go like watch coverage and like I'd be watching Ben or Scotty, and it'd just be like hitting on the green, and I'm like, what are they doing to these golf balls to like have lies? Where I mean, I was like struggling to advance at 100 yards a few times. I mean, I had one I laid up on Thursday on 11, and I was 2 feet left of the first cut. I had 90 yards to the pin for my third shot. It's par five. I missed the fairway on my layup. And I didn't feel super confident about it, but I'm 90 yards away. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to give it a rip. I'm going to try and get it on the green. I'm 90 yards. It dribbled into the water hazard, which is what, 15, 20 yards short of the green. I mean, full swing wedge, it went 50 yards, maybe. I mean, the rough was insane at Memorial this week. Obviously, the rain didn't help either, made it that much worse. But I almost never had just clean, oh, you can hit this. Maybe I would have said like 75-25, like 75 just chopping.
Did the milkshakes make it worth the while to go?
Oh, absolutely. The course, I love the course. It was brutal, but it wasn't like I don't know. If you hit good shots, like you could make birdies there. Absolutely. Like if you hit good tee shots, the fairways were out there. They're not like super tight. They're not. I mean, it was soft enough. The ball was staying in the fairways and stuff, and the greens were soft enough you could get at pins. It's just if you miss shots, it was just pretty much always going to be terrible because the rough is awful and the bunkers, like fairway bunkers, super deep. Greenside bunkers, like, tough to be in good spots. Like greens aren't that big, so actually even just hitting the green from greenside bunkers wasn't that easy. Um, you just, I mean, I'm not surprised Scotty won. He's kind of the guy that just doesn't really hit bad shots. So
Do you think it's important to have Memorial where it is on the schedule for the US Open? Like, do you feel like you have more of an advantage for next week, having played that already?
um, in the sense that it's kind of gotten me prepared for like the rough and handling stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh, I'm
Like,
glad I have a week off to like I don't know. It was like de-stress, I guess, to like reset after that. Um, just to try and get my mind right for handling a U.S. Open. Um, but yeah, I do think it was good prep. I mean, those greens were very fast. I think we'll see a somewhat comparable golf course, or as far as the PGA Tour schedule allows, probably about as comparable of a condition golf course as any other week.
well, we've seen this like with the signature events, especially at this point of the season, versus the standard events. Although Colonial, there was no graduated cut at Colonial, was it? It was just fairway, and then it was like thick rough.
It's fairway and then just straight Bermuda. Good luck controlling this rough.
So, I mean, maybe that can help you out too. But I'm just thinking like going into the PGA Championship, like the Byron Nelson is right before it, and
Mm.
guys just go rip wherever they want, hit it from
Yep.
wherever, go post minus 25 and hope you win. Doesn't feel like the best prep. And that does seem to be the difference right now that if you've made it into the signature events, you get to play these courses that prep you for majors better and those bigger events versus your regular rotation courses, which are 50-50 birdie fests a lot of the time. Like, is there something to that, or is it just who shows up on the week?
I never really thought about it that way. I always just kind of like, I was always a little frustrated when I wasn't in the elevated events just because I do like tougher golf courses. And I felt like they gate kept a lot of the tougher golf courses in like to the elevated events. So that I was stuck playing a lot more of these birdie fests, which I can play those, but I didn't think that they necessarily fit my game as well. Um, but yeah, I guess that kind of goes in with it that, yeah, the majors are definitely more of a priority on par and handling tougher conditions, handling tougher setups. So,
Well,
uh,
this has been a big knock with the live guys in majors too. I know Bryson won at Pinehurst last year,
mhm,
and obviously Brooks won. There's still a lot of talent, but
mhm.
when you see some of these guys coming down the stretch, that just they're not used to playing these style of tournaments anymore. Like, does it get out of your system? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have not played any live events. I don't know the setups they're playing. They are still playing Doral. Like that is a
Yes.
very tough golf course. Like they are still playing like other courses that are tough courses. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if a shotgun 54 hole event like necessarily mimics the kind of pressure you feel coming down the stretch in a major. Not that I can really speak on what the pressure is like coming down the stretch in a major, but I can imagine it's more so than coming down the stretch in just a regular PGA Tour event. So, um, yeah, I think there's an argument to be made, but like Bryson and Brooks, these guys did it before they went to live. They have, memories they can look back on of when they were competing to win majors and winning majors before they left. So I think slight advantage definitely for that. Like they've been in those spots before. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them up there again at Oakmont. I mean, they're good players that have won many times in the past. Like it's, you know, I find it hard to believe somebody's going to fake it around Oakmont and win one. So
Yeah.
it's
Like,
going to be some good golfers at the top of that leaderboard.
I was looking at the 2016 leaderboard. It really struck me as strange, some of the name, like thinking about US Opens and like
Mhm.
looking at this list of names and just kind of like side eyeing it for a second
It,
because Dustin led the field in driving, distance, and basically accuracy too. That's why he ended up winning. He didn't even
yeah,
putt particularly well that week. But of the guys who mashed the ball the most distance wise off the tee, most of them ended up near the top of the leaderboard, where most weeks that's going to be the case, especially at US Opens. That's going to be the case. But then you had like Jim Furyk and Zach Johnson. So the
Andrew
emphasis on
Landry.
accuracy was there too, even from the
Yeah.
shorter hitters. But like, if you had to pick one skill this week, would it be hit the ball the farthest in the field or hit every fairway?
I still think you're going to gain more of an advantage from hitting every fairway. Um, I think course conditions like change things. So like last time they played Oakmont, scores were super low first couple rounds because it rained a ton. Like I don't even remember if they started on time. Like they had really bad rain. They were like behind schedule. They were finishing Thursday's round on Friday, Friday's round on Saturday. Like it was the whole thing got super messed up because there was a ton of rain, which softened up the course a lot. Uh, that also kind of leads in like it makes it a little easier for the bombers because the rough gets a little bit worse when it rains. So if you have only an 8 iron into a hole or a 9 iron into the hole from the rough versus a 6 or a 5 iron, that makes a huge difference. You had a guy, I think Andrew Landry was up there through 2 rounds. He was like leading it, but I mean, I think he was just going like full blackout with the putter. But if we get a firm and fast week, I think that opens it up a little bit more for the field at Oakmont, just because it won't play as long. So if you're in the rough, potentially, you know, say I have like a 7 iron out of the rough or an 8 iron versus a 5 iron, like that could be the difference of getting it to the front edge and having it easier up and down versus just taking a wedge and chopping it down the fairway.
Is that
I think a firmer, faster course brings a little bit more of the field.
The Travelers Championship, the Northeast one and only PGA Tour signature event, Can it surpass the excitement of last year's thrilling finale when Scottie Scheffler broke away from the loaded leaderboard with 3 straight birdies in the back 9 during the final round, leading to a dramatic one-hole playoff with Tom Kim winning him his 6th PGA Tour victory of the year? Will Scottie repeat as champion? Come watch as the world's best PGA Tour players try to dethrone him. All of them competing all 4 days at TPC River Highlands. The action begins June 19th and runs through June 22nd. For tickets and information, visit travelerschampionship.com to see the greats, including Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Ludwig Oberg, and the rest. The Travelers Championship. There is only one. First few rounds of the PGA Championship as well, like just knowing how wet was that course?
Soaked. Yeah, it was honestly like I couldn't believe how much it had dried out like through 2 rounds. But it was so, like walking down the fairways on Wednesday, every single step was like you couldn't have taken casual water on Wednesday because there was nowhere to go. Like you have to take full relief, and there would have been nowhere to go to actually take full relief from casual water.
Well, I guess the last thing I wanted to ask you about golf-wise, and I want to talk about football with you as well, but you played in the Scottish a few times. Now you get to play in the Open.
Yeah.
Does that make going over like way more fun now?
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited to play the Open. Obviously in Ireland this year, which is I've always wanted to go to Ireland, haven't ever been, so extra excited for that. Playing the Scottish the last what, I've played twice, I think. Like I've had so much fun doing that. It's just so much different than what we get here. I've had kind of mixed success over there, but I think every time I get to play there is at least just a good thing. Like just getting reps on those kind of courses will be good for me. Um, I'm working to improve to learn on those courses. I think I can play that kind of golf well once I start to get the hang of it. I think I enjoy some of the creativeness of golf, using my imagination a little bit. So I think that style of golf kind of leads into that a little bit.
Do you
But
find
man,
that's the biggest difference in those courses, that it's not bomb it, try to hit it straight, hit your approaches close? I mean, obviously you're trying to do that as well, but
there is some of that though. Like sometimes that is kind of the play, but I don't know. There's different ways that you can get to certain places. Just the way the ground works there. Um, like you have Bermuda here and it rains a bit. Like you're not bouncing stuff up. It's going to be landing into the grain. It's going to be digging in. Like that's not going to be a thing. But over there, you could hit 3 different clubs all about the same distance, just depending on what you want to do, because you can use mounds. You can use the ground. It's going to react in ways that it just does not here.
and that's fun.
Yes, that's fun. Having more options is fun.
Are you surprised that, I mean, they've tried to mimic that style of course in America, but do you think the tour would ever try to go to one of those courses?
I did not play the US Open. I would love to go play something at Chambers Bay sometime. PGA, please go there. Like, I don't think USGA is ever going back, but
They
maybe
should. It was fine, and
I
like
don't-
just
it looks so fun. I know the guys hated the greens. They fixed the greens. They're all fescue now. They're supposed to be awesome. Like, let's go back. I want to see the place. It looks so fun. Like, I know, honestly, probably the biggest issue is how much of a nightmare it was for the fans. Like walking around, you can't see holes. Like it's straight up mountains to get to certain holes. Like it's awful. But I don't know. That looks so fun. Yeah, I would love something like that. But I don't know. It maybe untouchable at this point.
we'll see. Yeah, they've had the U.S. Open mapped out for 30 years, I think now.
Yeah.
So, oh, just to kind of go back on Live for a second. I feel like if I was talking to you 3 years ago, all of the chatter would have been like, "What's going on with Live? What's all this Live thing?" Has that like completely subsided now? Does anyone care?
Um, it's not like the current hot topic. I mean, I'll still get a little bit of questions about it, but I think for the most part, people see like it's not replacing the PGA Tour. Maybe 2, 3, 4 names from them coming back would be exciting, I guess, for the PGA Tour. But for the most part, like the product is just inferior.
Yeah.
I don't think that people necessarily enjoy the shotgun start the way that they have it anymore than the current PGA Tour setup. I think that as far as golf in the future looks, I think the PGA Tour model is definitely going to be the way to go. That's not me saying like going to a live event wouldn't be fun. Like that Adelaide event looks like it'd be a fantastic time for the fan to go to. But yeah, I don't see the like future being live.
Well, you're a team champion now. That maybe they
That
could
is
work in a
true.
few more team events on tour.
Yeah, yeah. Look, team events are fun. Match play events are fun. I'm down for having one-off events or certain things added to the schedule. I would love to see match play again back on the schedule. I don't think that that's something you do for the entire year. I think they're great as once the one tournament a year, and it just kind of break up like the monotony of like the normal tournaments. But
See, match play is weird because I really enjoyed the match play, but it is a TV nightmare on the weekend because nothing is happening.
nothing's going on. Yeah,
Is there a way to fix that? Like, could you have because there's been talk about the tour championship, like the fantasy ideas of like how do you fix it? The staggered start wasn't it. Now they're going back to just normal play, so it doesn't matter if you were first or 30th going
right.
into East Lake. You got a chance to
Yeah,
win now. Which do you prefer that or not?
yeah. I think it's fine. The reason I have not heard somebody give a way to play the tour championship that is good or perfect or anything. I feel like I can poke holes in almost every argument. So
I got to run mine by you then, so you can rip it up.
let's hear it.
So I do think that the point should mean something. And the staggered start isn't it for me.
Mm.
So what if you were able to do it's a field of 30, let's say I don't know if you mix in the top guys or not, but let's say you give a bye to the top four in the FedEx Cup standings coming in. They get a bye to the weekend starting on Saturday. And then it ends up becoming a like 12-person match play. They get a bye in the first round, then it gets whittled down to 8, but each of those matches is for a substantial amount of money come Sunday. So it's not just 1v1 for the tour championship and like basically a $40 million purse in a head-to-head match play, but 3 versus 4, 4 versus 5, all has significant amounts of money on the line. The problem is I don't know if fans actually care about. I know you guys would care about the money. I don't know if fans really want to watch the 7-8 matchup. That's
The
probably worth
problem,
$2 million aside. But it feels like it would keep people
yeah.
engaged, and at least there's golf going on.
The problem with match play is if you do it as a straight bracket, it's not really necessarily fair for
No,
like the first. Like
top seeds got to pick their opponent.
yeah, you want guys to get buys, right? Like to reward them for the season. The problem is, why would the PGA Tour ever set up a thing where we get less of Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy playing golf? Why do we want them playing less golf over the course of the week? Like that's not. I don't see that as a good business model. Like I think you would want Rory and Scotty playing every day when they're out there. I feel like that's a big draw for the crowds.
Yeah,
So yeah, if
very
you're
good
giving them
point.
bye weeks all the way to the weekend, I just don't see that as something you'd want, as at least as far as the tour is concerned.
Good point. I will take that under advisement and then amend my idea now. So maybe we start with the staggered start, but everyone gets put in groupings of 5. So if you're top 5 in the standings, you start at 5 under, the next 5 start at 4 under. It's not as big of a gap. And then you get to play to the weekend, and then you get a first round bye, but you're not actually missing a day because it would be 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. It's just the very top guys. And it might not be those guys after the first 36 holes of stroke play. And I need my top guys. Whoever is the higher seed in any of these, whoever the highest seed is, gets to pick his opponent. And that's part of the TV product.
I do think calling out opponents would be fantastic TV. It would kind of
You
create
guys
some
would hate it.
rivalries. I
You guys would
see.
hate it.
I see some fun in that. I think some guys would enjoy it. I'm not going to say everybody's going to hate it. There might be some people that don't end up liking it, but don't lose.
Well, we need to create, like, I think there does need to be not necessarily like rivalries between players, although that's what that might create. But the biggest impact I feel like Liv had, it took all of the players that people didn't like away from the tour.
It's funny how that worked. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was the fun part about it. Like, I love Patrick Reed. I love watching Patrick Reed. I'm in a vast minority of that. But I just injecting him in
Yeah.
to the circus is
It's
way more fun.
it's like free drama. Yeah, I get your point. Yeah,
So I mean,
storylines and yeah,
if you come out, start wearing all black and smoking cigarettes on the course and like giving Scotty the finger, there might be something there.
that's not me.
Well, you might get if you played the part, you might get like $1 billion live contract out of it.
Pretty happy on the PGA Tour.
That's fair. All right, let's talk football because this is really why I wanted to talk to you. I got to do the golf show, got to get the golf stuff out of the way. What made you get into talking about football on the internet? Because this is my world. This is what I do.
Yeah,
It's just a ton of fun, right?
yeah. And football is, I mean, it's really like my first love. I mean, I grew up watching it. That's all I do in the fall is watch football. I love it. I think post golf, like there's a good chance I end up doing something with football. It's not going to be anything crazy. I may just be coaching high school football, whatever. It's just something I love. Um, One of my former teammates was starting a podcast with a friend of his, and I guess the guy backed out, and he was reaching out, like scrambling, trying to find a co-host for a couple weeks until he could find somebody to do this podcast with him. And I was like, I'll do it, but I want the full-time gig. And he was like, fine. He knew I watched a lot of football and followed, so it just became a thing. I mean, we've been doing it for a pretty good while now. I mean, we started like week 4 2 years ago. So I mean, we're over a year and a half in at this point. It doesn't take a ton of extra time on my part. I'm already watching the games. It's just kind of all up in here, and it's just something fun to do. We didn't ever really expect it to blow up or do anything. I mean, I wouldn't say it's even really blown up at this point, but it's just something that we have fun doing, and I don't know, one of my passions.
So, do you have like a team you're just an absolute homer for, or are you giving like the objective what's going on in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, but like,
That's no fun.
what is there to be a homer about?
Hey, Bryce Young, you can say getting
He
bigger plates
was
and he can be 6 feet tall.
fantastic last 9 weeks of the season.
He
Fantastic.
was. I got a lot of egg on my face on
I
that. Just calling
I
him
have
trash.
seen the Panthers over the last 15 years have been one of the very best teams in the NFL the second they're out of playoff contention. We are so good. So good. We win so many games that just make sure we pick ninth instead of third. We are so good. So I don't know if the Bryce Young thing was part of that or if it actually was. I saw aspects of his game that, like, there was a confidence, there was a bit of a swagger to him, which was different than before, which I think could be, maybe he is becoming a better player. We'll see. I've given up trying to predict the Panthers. We seem to do, like, when I think we're going to be good, we do terrible, and then it just flips. I don't know. I'm not expecting anything crazy, but we're in a terrible division, so who knows?
Well, you got to play the Falcons, so that's always fun. People will say
Yeah,
that they're great,
I
and then
don't.
we'll just lose
I mean,
games.
the Falcons will be all right. They've got some quarterback questions themselves. I mean, FedEx looked fine last year. It's Kirk didn't look that great, so it's.
Well,
I feel like
Penix did the whole
division is.
Bryce Young thing. Penix just played 4
Yeah,
games and looked like you said, all right.
he looked all right. He torched the Panthers defense. Great, cool. Everybody did that. Like, other than that, it was kind of just it. So I don't know. I mean, Buccaneers are definitely the favorite in the division, and I think they'll probably win it. But like, I also feel like the Buccaneers probably aren't going to win like too many more than like 10, 11 games. Like, it's kind of an open division. So Saints are going to be terrible.
The Saints are going to be
pretty confident on that one. But
I don't want to say historically bad, but very bad. You can like bet them to they are not the favorites to win the fewest games this year somehow.
yeah, Evan was literally, my co-host was actually texting me. He was going through looking at team totals, and the one he had the farthest off going through their schedule was the Saints. I'm like, how is that the farthest off? Like, you'd think a team in the middle, you'd have like the biggest like delta. Like, their over under is pretty low, and he had him at like basically 2 wins. So I think things could be a little rough for New Orleans this year.
Well, we went through the Jets schedule with my buddy who's a Jets fan,
Yeah.
and I think they're favored in 2 games this year. Cleveland, weirdly enough, is the team projected for the fewest wins, but I
Yeah,
don't
I
see it.
mean,
I
I
think they'll
get
be all
it.
right.
Yeah, Cleveland, like they're very comfortable playing ugly football. I think they are absolutely fine leaning into playing ugly football. I'm surprised by the Jets a little bit like that. I also could see like the Dolphins fully flopping this year. So
Yeah, but they're not awful if Tua's healthy. If Tua gets hurt,
yeah,
it's on the table.
but I mean, yeah, like that could easily happen. Like I don't
Yeah,
know, Tyreek
the bet
just
is that he
decides
doesn't.
to stop playing games, and like I don't know. I could see things like really like there's a world where like I could see the Dolphins just they could be good, but I could see them just ripping out like 0-6, McDaniel gone. Like I could see like wheels really coming off there.
How did you feel about Canales as head coach? Did you like him?
Yeah, I thought he was a really good hire. I like the direction that we went. Like good young energy guy. Paired him up with Dan Morgan, also like an energy guy at GM. I think those two work really well together because I feel like personality wise they kind of fit, which I think is a good thing. I think the Panthers could use a bit of an identity, a little bit more of an identity. They needed kind of a reset like that. Obviously, pairing a good offensive mind with Bryce was like a big part of it. I think that's something he needed. Obviously, it did look like his, confidence came back a little bit late in the year. So maybe that pairing is working really well. Um, Seems to be like the defense. If we can get that kind of squared away after last year, like there's a lot of improvement to be had there. I think it was most points ever given up in an NFL season. So only way to go is up, hopefully. But I mean, I hope Canales at least has another couple years. I think there is a good chance he can get things going on the right track, especially in a division that, like, I really do think the division's kind of like there for the taking. Like, couple, if this draft hits, Bryce continues to improve, like, could be set up for the next 2, 3 years, 4 years to just kind of own the division.
Then you get the home game in the playoffs and like Dallas or something like that. That'd be a fun win, beating Dallas in the first round.
The only NFL playoff game I've ever been to was Carolina Panthers in Charlotte against Dallas Cowboys. We won that.
2025?
No, what?
No, 2015. Was that the Cam
No,
Super Bowl year?
no. This was the Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith. This was 04, 03. I think it was 03 because the Super Bowl was 04. Or I guess a playoff game might have been 04. Yeah.
So it was the Super Bowl
It
Panthers
was
year.
Super
Just
Bowl run, the first
Delhomme
Super
one.
Bowl run. Yeah. It was, I want to say it was like first round of the playoffs, maybe. Something like that.
Did Mushin Muhammad go off on them?
I think the defense kind of cooked in that game. I don't remember. I think we have Steven Davis at running back then. I think we were kind of leaning on him a little bit, maybe.
Oh, there was Steven Davis, but there was another running back too that they had. Who
Deshaun
was it?
Foster.
Yeah, Deshaun Foster. I was gonna go look that up. Boom, pulling it
Yeah,
out.
there you go.
Delhomme was awesome for like 2 years.
He was great, and I was actually at the game where it all came crashing down. It was maybe the worst quarterback performance I have ever seen until Bryce Young against the Chargers this past year at the home opener.
Was the Delhomme? Was it the
It was
Cardinals game?
it was the Cardinals game. It was a playoff game, I think. I think he had 7 turnovers. It might have been 6, but I think it was 7. I also think Larry Fitzgerald had 150 yards by halftime, so that didn't help.
And they
It
were
was
like
it was
the
a
Panthers.
bad blowout, and I stayed the whole game. I
The-
remember
the
that. I was young. I wasn't that young, but I think I was crying. It was not good. Jake probably threw 5 picks, maybe fumbled once or twice. It was really bad.
And the Panthers were a pretty high seed that year, weren't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I remember, like I think we like literally marched down the field and scored like first drive, and then the rest of the game was just awful. Like it was not fun.
I just
I
remember
think we scored early, and then things just went way downhill.
Yeah, the Cardinals had such a weird run that year because they had that weird overtime game against the Packers that Rodgers ended up throwing like the back-to-back Hail Marys. Then they lost in overtime, and then they went
Was
on
that
the
that
run.
year?
I think that was that year. Maybe that was '09 that I'm thinking of that. I thought that was
That
the
had
year
to,
they
that
beat the
had to be
Panthers, the year
later
they went to
on.
the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
That had to be later on, I feel like, because the DeLone like downfall game had to be like '07. And I feel like I was in college when Rodgers threw. I think that Rodgers game against Arizona was like more like 13.
'09.
That was '09?
Yeah,
Or the DeLone games.
Delhomme. Oh, maybe this is wrong. Let's see. Mistake by Jake is the headline.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Delhomme was unable to celebrate his 34th birthday as he had the worst game of his career on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think I was in like middle school then.
5 interceptions, 1 fumble, threw an interception on the goal line.
It's only 6. Oh well. Close enough.
Whew. It's rough seeing 33-13. That's actually better than I would have expected.
We scored with like 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter to get to 13. So yeah, it was a very late touchdown to make it like that, if I remember correctly.
Now I got it. So that would have been the '08 Cardinals. I mean, I know I think they may have played twice. Now it's just stuck in my head, the Cardinals versus the Packers. But I feel like that double Rodgers Hail Mary game was a game they ended up losing somehow. See, no, yeah, that's the playoffs. No, they didn't play them that year, so it was a different year. Falcons,
I think
Panthers.
that Rodgers game was a little later. I remember being older for that.
I'm trying to think. I feel like I watched that when I lived in Calgary right after I finished college. So that would have been 20.
I
Maybe it
would
was
say
the
the
next year,
way there's
2010.
definitely a way to look it up. I would have put that in like the 2013 range because I think I was like either late in high school or just in college.
Let's see. It was fantastic podcasting right now. It was the next year. It was actually 2010. The next year.
And okay, well, I guess I would have been high school too. Okay. Yeah, I'm usually a little better with Packers stuff than that. One of my best friends is a diehard Packers fan. So
Is he still a big Rodgers fan?
Yeah, probably. I think he appreciates what he gave him for many years.
51-45 in overtime was the final game.
Jeff
So
Janis.
how fun was the Cam year then?
Oh, awesome! I was in college for that, so I was up in Spartanburg. We went to a game or two, like in Charlotte. It was right there. Although tickets started getting like crazy about halfway through that year. People in Charlotte decided they wanted to start being Carolina Panthers fans for once.
They might come back again now.
Well, tickets are cheap now. It was kind of sad. I went to the home opener last year against the Chargers, and obviously Chargers fans don't travel well.
All 5 of them?
It was half full at best. I mean, I took a picture at kickoff. It was so bad. I mean, obviously the season was not expected to be a good one, but that was definitely disappointing to see. So hopefully Carolina can get it back, and Charlotte can start showing up again.
So looking back on it now, 2 years removed, are you feeling better about a trade that people called one of the worst ever? Now that Bryce seems like he has a little bit of life?
Yeah, I mean, it was really bad. It was not a good trade at all. But if we didn't do that, like, we would have still been terrible. So it's not like, I mean, I don't even know how many games we would have won that year if we didn't take Bryce. Like, it would have been really rough. Obviously, we would have still had our first round pick, which is like, that's the toughest part because then we would have had first overall.
So you'd have Caleb Williams instead of having Bryce Young.
we probably would have had Caleb. So I don't know. I doubt Caleb would have succeeded much with the team that we had last year. Like, the defense giving up 30-something points a game, like, that's not great. I don't know. It sucks. Like, losing DJ Moore was really tough, especially like bringing in a new quarterback. Like, that's probably not something you want to be doing. Is like giving away one of your few weapons to actually help somebody coming in. I didn't mind the deal when we did it because I thought it was cool that we were trying to go out and like do something instead of just being happy picking 8th every single year. Obviously the way CJ Stroud played his rookie year made it look really, really stupid. But
does it make you feel better that he was a lot worse in his second year?
A little bit, yes. It didn't help early year when Bryce looked even worse, but the way Bryce finished the year, I mean, yeah, like maybe Bryce does end up being as good as CJ Stroud. Who knows?
Yeah,
Uh,
how'd you feel about the Dalton weeks?
his rookie year, Dalton looked like unbelievable when he came in for uh Bryce. And so then when they did it this year, I was like, I wonder if we like start winning a few games, and then it just like all still looked horrible. So I think Dalton's a great quarterback to have in there for a younger guy, but yeah, I mean he's not the answer. So
Well, we've talked a lot about the bottom of the NFL. If we go to the top, do you have any particular lean? I mean, the NFC, people are going to give it to the Eagles right now. Is there who do you see if it's not the Eagles? Who would it be?
in the NFC,
Yeah. Stealth Vikings?
I was actually gonna say I kind of like the Packers. I think the Packers got a solid team. I think looking at Jordan Love's splits when Christian Watson is healthy, I'm not expecting Christian Watson to stay healthy, but I think Matthew Golden can do similar things there. I think he can open up a lot of things for that offense. I think that run game's still going to be solid if the defense is good. They're going to be as good as anybody. I think Detroit obviously has lost a ton, but they're also getting a ton of guys back healthy that were hurt last year. I like the North could cannibalize a little bit, but I think I'd kind of tend to go there if I was looking for somebody to beat the Eagles.
I think people are trying to look at Washington just because they
They
made the.
definitely are. Yeah. But
I just
I'm
feel like
always scared. Like when a rookie quarterback has that good a rookie year, like that tape gets out, man. Like CJ Stroud had the same thing. Like I know Jaden's saying he's been like self scouting, trying to, pick up on like what guys are gonna do versus him this year, but like still it's tough, man. You give defensive coordinators a full off season to prep. Like I think they will be good this year. I I think that there could be a step back or two for Jaden. I think he's still going to be an unbelievable player, and I think going forward he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But this
I
could be a little bit tougher year for him.
I think that people forget that if Baker just doesn't fumble that snap, Washington loses in the first round.
Yeah.
Like just how quickly that can change. Like
Yep.
that's nothing that Jaden Daniels did. It's nothing really even Washington did. Baker just
Yeah.
had, he's eating KFC or something. Had real greasy fingers,
I,
couldn't hold on to the ball.
I do like that Washington has gone out and tried to like not just run it back, but they're actually like actively they were going out and getting pieces to try and improve, adding things to make it at least look different. I think that could help. But
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, if Debo's, I mean, you talk about guys who can't stay healthy, then you got
well,
Debo coming in.
yeah.
So in the
Yeah.
AFC,
Mhm.
did the Chiefs finally take a step back? Is it the Bills' time, the Ravens' time? Because it feels like it's those three, and that's it.
It's been the Bills' time for too long. I think you look towards like I really the Ravens got to do it at some point. I People like getting on Lamar for like their playoff struggles and stuff. He's going to win one at some point. I truly believe it. It really like this year kind of somewhat makes sense to me. I think it's probably the last year you have like Derrick Henry being a freak. I don't know. Maybe he'll just play till 40, but probably about time for Baltimore. I thought they crushed the draft, so added some good pieces there. I think the Bengals take a little bit of a jump this year as well, though, so that could make it tough in that division. Uh, I don't know. I think it'll be a little tougher for the Chiefs because I think their division is going to be as tough as it's been in a while for them. So I don't think we're going to see them just like walking through the regular season. I mean, they didn't really walk through the regular season last year; they just sort of like beat everybody at the last second. But
It just feels like with them that they're not going to be them until December. They're not even going to. I don't want to say they're not going to try. Obviously, they need to win games. But even just take the
yeah,
Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. All three of them. I mean, the Broncos and Chargers should be like pretty good, and the Raiders are probably going to end up just being a lot better baseline than they were a year ago. But all those teams seem like they have Chiefs phobia. That when they start playing the Chiefs, they start melting down.
they just it's too much scar tissue, man. Like it's built up over years, and they just know if it's close at the end, Mahomes is going to break their hearts. I feel like that's a little bit what Rodgers did to like the NFC North for a while. Like I feel like the Lions, like finally have been able to exercise some demons from that. Um, I don't know. I think the Broncos and Chargers will be good teams. I think they'll be like more fighting for like one of the last playoff spots, but um, I don't know. I think that's still the Chiefs division. Like I still see them winning that, even if they're like kind of sleepwalking some of the schedule.
Now you were playing some swing events. Like I think you came like what second in Bermuda last year. Are guys like watching and betting on football while you guys are out there?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Like Bermuda's a little tough to watch the football. You get some of the games on
Bermuda is my
TV.
time zone, by the way. It is not a conducive sports watching time zone.
No, it's actually horrible. This was 2 years ago. There was a Thursday night football game. It was Panthers Bears. Horrible, horrible football game. Two very, very bad football teams. But the Panthers were Thursday night football. I want to watch that. And I drew like a Friday morning tea time. The Thursday night game starts at 9:15 or something. Like,
Oh yeah,
that's
it ends
not,
at
you can't
1:30.
do that. That's awful. That's so bad.
It's not good.
No, which, it probably saved me from having to watch a horrendous football game, but yeah, not a great time zone for watching it. If you have an early tea time though, like on Saturday, and you go out and play and you're done by like noon or 1, all the college games are literally starting when you come on. Oh man, you can just go watch all day. It's great. You can just take a phone, go sit by the pool, sit by the water. You got the ocean in the background. You got the game right there. It's pretty nice.
So is it a go back to your hotel and watch, not like hang at the clubhouse, like in the bar and watch it with everyone?
It's they're not gonna have football on in the bar.
You can listen. You guys are there. You can figure it out.
Yeah, I guess that is true. I mean, there'll probably be enough people asking.
If there's enough people who ask, that's enough business. And then all of a sudden they're like, "What?
Yeah.
What do you want on?"
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, dude. Thanks for the time, man. It was fun.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Good luck next week.
Appreciate that.
Oh, if there's a tournament coming up, I mean, you said you like John Deere. You're playing John Deere. Maybe
Mhm.
that's the spot. But if you're like eyeing a spot where you think like this is the one, I can get it done here. Is it like is it Rocket Mortgage? Is it John Deere? If you play John Deere, that means you're not playing the Scottish, by the way.
John Deere doesn't overlap with Scottish.
Yeah, you're going to go
Scottish.
John Deere, Scottish, then the Open back to back to back.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's like pretty normal. The John Deere, they do a charter there from John Deere to Scottish. I mean, Jordan does it every year. He plays that one and goes over. Like it's pretty common. I'm not playing Rocket Mortgage, so it basically like came down to I was going to be playing one or the other. So
And then getting back, you think you'll play Wyndham? That seems like a good course for you.
I love Wyndham. I think it's a great course for me. I have putted historically awful there for like 3 years. Like really, really awful. Like looking at the numbers, it's like comedy. But I've hit the ball well there. So
Let's
maybe this is the year where I putt well there.
Oh yeah, that's what is it with these greens? I was there last year. Like, are the greens that tough?
I couldn't even tell you. I mean, it is some of the worst putting performances you have ever seen in your life. I think it was the first 2 years there. I mean, it was MCMC, and I think my best round I lost 2.5 on the greens.
Say, I got you for 2022 minus 7.6 lost in 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think I went basically -4. I hit it nice that year though.
Yeah, you did. But ball strike, tee to green wise, you're lighting it up there.
Pretty good. Yeah, I could do that. The whole thing when you like have to put it in the hole. Yeah, that wasn't happening.
Hey,
Last year
Rye
was
won
a
there
little
last
better.
year.
Last year was a little better through the first 2 rounds, and the weekend it got a little rough. But last year was a really weird schedule because the hurricane came through, and I ended up playing like 36 on Sunday, and it was a weird week.
Yeah, it's like I took off. I didn't go on the Thursday, and I played. I think it was Bryan Park, which is like just in the middle.
Nice.
It was an awesome course.
Yeah,
but we were the only ones out there. I can't believe the course was open, but somehow it wasn't completely waterlogged. It was fine to play. They were just terrified of going out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I don't know. That was a weird week. We ended up like riding out a hurricane in a rental house and stuff. Like it was flooding like everywhere. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw the video of like the cooler just floating down the golf course at Sedgefield because they had like 3 holes that were flooded and there was just like a river running through the course. And then we were
Yeah,
just like playing golf there like a day and a half later. That was kind of crazy.
you can get your putting woes under control there. If Aaron Rye
Yeah.
can win a tournament, dude like never hits a 5-foot putt. I feel like just 1 week it can snap into place.
Yeah. I don't know what my issue has been there. I mean, it's Bermuda greens. It's what I grew up playing. Like I should be fine on them. I have just read them horribly. Just haven't made anything. So maybe this is the year.
All right. Well, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Thanks again, Andrew Novak, for being on the show. Wishing you the best of luck at the U.S. Open. Hopefully that goes well. If not there, it's going to be sometime soon. It's got to come on. So you good people out there, you smash the like. Follow Andrew on Twitter and cheer him on. Join Novak Nation when you get to the course. Let him know that he's got some support behind you as well. All right. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!